Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The final match here of Week 5, CCL Season 2021. And just to kind of recap things, how things have shaken out so far tonight. That first match we had on the Alpha stream, High Point able to grab the win over Liberty Navy. 3-1 was the score there. And then on the Bravo stream, how about Johnson C. Smith University with the win over Barton College in 3-1 fashion as well. And then most recently, you just saw it, UTK Orange picking up the win over KSU Black. Now we turn our attention to the final match of the night, final match of the week. Cam Burt, again, joined by Hold Shift here, and we've got ourselves another good one, Alan. Miami from Ohio taking on North Kentucky Gold. It's going to be, again, another checkmate to start things off, and we kind of got to see that earlier tonight. It's one of those maps. It's got some money hills, but to me, I don't know. I feel like the spawns are somewhat unpredictable at times on checkmate. That's kind of where we're going to kick things off, though.
Yeah, it's just really funny, man. I don't know why these CCL teams love playing checkmate so much. It's like one of the least played maps, I would say, in Challengers and in the CDL. But whatever floats your boat, we're going to be getting maybe all three instances of it again. But just to kind of speak more at large as far as what's on the line here, this is a Mid-American region matchup in Division B. For Northern Kentucky, they're currently 6-2 in a very comfortable third position. And then down in fifth, the final slot that you could get in to get to the top cut is where Miami and the Redhawks are currently positioned at 5-3. Now, that all said, the teams that are below them include Bowling Green and Shawnee State. Both only have 3 wins. So they should be all right, I think, to get in, no matter the result of this one overall. I think it just comes down to what exactly is happening with Bowling Green, and I don't believe they have any more matches left to play. So I'm pretty sure they're confidently and comfortably into the top cut. But, of course, it would be nice to be able to take on a pretty substantial opponent here in the Mid-American region and give yourself a win, especially if you're in Miami, because you're coming into, like you mentioned, a checkmate hardpoint in which they have yet to win yet.
Right. Playing for pride, playing for momentum, trying to pick up on anything you can grab before that split takes place, where we know things will really start to heat up in the CCL. You mentioned it, though. Miami and the Redhawks 0-3 so far in this map in mode. So they're going to be definitely looking to learn some things here today. They definitely are a search and destroy team, 8-1 so far on the season. That's where they have had the bulk of their success. But 5-8 in hardpoint, that's a little alarming as you start to get towards the split. You need to clean that up. We know respawns are so important in winning a lot of these series. Tonight, they'll have an opportunity to do that, and it's going to be on a map where they struggle the most.
And to be fair, the hard points that they've lost have largely been pretty tight games. There have been a couple of losses where not exactly the result that you're looking for, but they have yet to really been fully blown out, with the only exception when they played up against Purdue. That's the only time that they've largely been put into a deficit that was probably a little bit insurmountable. But with all that said, I mean, you've got Purdue and Butler that are on top of this division. Both teams are looking pretty darn good. And for Northern Kentucky, currently sitting in third, the Norse are really playing pretty lights out COD. And that's exciting to see, I think, because we have not seen this squad play before. This is a brand new team when it comes over towards what's happening here in the CCL for this season. And it's just nice to see new contenders coming in immediately into their first season overall.
So we jump right into map 1. 15 seconds already in favor of Miami. They'll be red on your minimap, and then NKU Gold will be white. Gru doing his best to maintain the time that was already starting to tick forward. But it's just going to be another one of these scrappy first hills. We know the rotation's so important, as the spawns in favor of NKU right now. Not really going to be much of a reason to push onto the point at this time. Just kind of sit back and play those rotations where you know you can get some money hill.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, this is a pretty solid start overall for Miami. Yeah, you're in a position where you need to start making some progress across the map. Careful here, Rafe is actually not moving, so hopefully everything is okay and he can get back into this game, because this was a really solid start. And yeah, call out, there he is. He's just maybe checking out some settings or something of the nature. And as we do make this move over towards the second hard point, how about it? Calby and Cupan able to find themselves a couple of kills, and that will lead to an opportunity for the Redhawks to work around the back and eventually play for spawns.
Playing for spawns, obviously so important right now in favor of NKU. Kills starting to come through. You got Rafe here looking for whoever's on the point. He's like, where is it? Where is this guy? Finally, Motions is going to come on out, pick up that kill. And this hardpoint is staying in control of NKU. A solid hold to bring themselves right back into this one after the first 30 seconds go to Miami. Here come NKU, which looking like going to be a solid 60-second hold. They're going to leave the time for a quick second, but there to pick things up is Crew Elevator, and this is just, yeah, a really solid P2 hold. Yeah. Now we rotate to P3, but this is exactly what you're looking for if you're NKU.
decent exits here for the Norse, and with that, they've actually forced one Redhawk member to spawn behind the second hard point, so they will be able to get away from this second hill and have a pretty decent look as far as being able to maybe contest this third hill. You do have to clean up this player in the back, though, because Rando has done well to kind of be a pain in the butt, really, and with that, Miami will actually be in a position to where they have made life just chaotic enough for Northern Kentucky to really kind of, again, be spawning all over the place, and that means that eventually you need to get together, try to break this hill from some angle. Doesn't matter what. I don't care if it's from the front, from the back, from the side. Doesn't matter if it comes from the rooftop. Just get together and try to find a way to hit this, because Miami are in a really good spot controlling this plane. And with that, they've locked down that bottom side of the map.
It was a pretty hectic map for a little bit there. Everybody's spawning all over the place. Now, finally, some control starting to go in favor of Miami. First 20 seconds or so on this hill were uncontested, because as we know, this one can be really mixy, and it's hard to depict the spawns a lot of times on this hill. The final 15 seconds come on by. Q-Pan, the Diamati's working right now. That's 2 kills in favor of him. He's on a little 3-kill streak. Maybe trying to play for something here as the rotation comes through. He's able to get across. He's looking for something to happen, but again, this map can be so difficult to read the spawns. You see it right now. Pretty well spread all throughout. Both teams just trying to get set here as the rotation comes through.
And for now, again, I love to look at what's happening inside this plane, because from this wing that currently Rafe is on number 3, he can watch every single line of sight to get to this 4th hill, including that one right there out of the P2. So for Miami, this is really good. I love seeing teams not only controlling this plane, but knowing how to use it to make sure that their squad mates inside the hill know what they need to be looking at. So for Northern Kentucky, how are they going to break this hard point? Currently, it's just off of a flood, and Gru will open up with a couple of kills, and that will gain a bit of space for the Norse to start making some progress in return.
An important flood, because now Gru has a chance to get out and start to set up for the next hill. Final 15 seconds here. You mentioned that top plane position, so powerful on this map. You can see pretty much everywhere that you need to see. Crew doing everything possible to get this final 5 seconds. He's going to do that. You look at the rotations already in place for NKU. You got number 8 there. That's Abyss set up in wood. Couple players pushing through the top of the plane. They're going to find motion, so maybe an opening here for Miami at the start of this hill to get on through. Started to get some of the time. It's going to be number 2 there, Q-Pan, playing for these spawns. He will fall, so not too quick there to get the break. NKU still in a good spot.
But it does give Miami a set of respawns in the back. So even though you don't have any initial time, you do have the ability to try to work your way into the hard point, or do you? Gru says not interested. This is all ours, thank you very much. But even with that double kill and an explosive moment for the Norse, they still find themselves spawning out. So Miami, they just recover, regroup, and try again. The second time, much more successful than the first.
Spawns are definitely going to come through big there. They're able to get the break that they need, and it should be about a dead even game here. If they get this final 10 seconds, they should be in a little bit of a lead. How about the streak coming through, though, for Q-Pan? Up to 5. It's a couple times now that he's been on a streak. Can he make it happen, though, where he actually gets his artillery or a cruise missile? Trying to play the life up in the top of the plane. 18-9, double positive so far in this one. He's going to be here for initial time. It's the lead. Pretty small right now for Miami. It's been neck and neck so far. NKU with a couple big holds. Miami going right back at them with a solid hold of their own. This first hard point typically can be pretty scrappy, but Miami is able to hang on to a solid bit of time here. If you're NKU, you got to start to think. You got to get a contest together. Q-Pan and company are just doing a good job at holding the top of the plane.
It's just really funny. You look at just the statistics for Miami. Yeah, we said that they're 0-3 on this hard point specifically, but even with only a 5-8 win-loss record, their average score differential is positive, which means that, again, their losses are usually narrow and their wins are usually pretty great. And we're seeing them be really scrappy. I mean, they're playing this map pretty darn brilliantly. I mean, to be completely fair, I mean, they're doing everything that you would want to see a team try to do. Now, there are a couple of moments that you would have hoped them to really be able to cleanlier, but the fact of the matter is they're shutting down some of the big names for NKU. Elevator is currently on the North, the top hardpoint KD owner for this team, at least by how the season has gone so far, and he's just 11-14, which is not bad to be sure, but he's not popping off like you would normally expect from Northern Kentucky.
After grabbing some solid time on that first hill, Miami able to string it together here to P2 in the first 15 seconds already coming through. The setup's in place. You see the hit coming through from NKU. It's going to be 3 players trying to rotate around the right side. Motions is going to be spotted out, but he's able to grab a kill under Rafe, and this could be huge, a chance to push around the back. Only 30 seconds left on this hill, though, so if you're going to make a break happen, got to make it happen soon. Big kill from Rando to slow it down, and the spawn's still coming through from Miami in the back.
And I love that play from QPan right there. Yeah, he doesn't find any kills. So you're probably sitting there and saying, Shift, why do you love watching somebody die? He pushes through the forward part of the plane. He gets all the way up to that back staircase. And with his teammates spawning safely, that means that Northern Kentucky is spawning all the way out, not really giving them a chance to reinforce for one last hit. Now, granted, they do get Gru in for a little bit of the scrap time, but that's time that Miami was fine forfeiting over in favor of getting this position in and around the plane. So another nice little timing, another brilliant setup here for the Redhawks in Miami of Ohio are really putting out a clinic here through our second and third hill rotations.
Starting to stretch this lead out even more, up to 50 points now, and control of the map still in favor of Miami. This is not supposed to be a money hill, but they're starting to make it look like one. 20 seconds already coming through in this initial time, and you got Calby. Hasn't really had much to face off against here on the bottom of the hill. Finally motions with a challenge. That'll get him off the time. QPan, though, there for the trades, holding down the cross. Things looking really good for Miami now as they start to string things together. Back on the hill goes Rafe. He falls, but there's teammates there in support. And all of a sudden, this next 20 seconds could really, really put them in a good spot before they go into the next rotation.
QPan again just being annoying, just trying to read exactly where Northern Kentucky are, and beyond that, this route that he's pulling will actually make sure that Northern Kentucky spawn at the very bottom right part of the minimap, which is not where you want to be as we start looking over towards these container hardpoints, especially with Miami only 40 points away from winning. So we're going to get a 50-50 for the initial time. That will go the way of Northern Kentucky, and with that, they'll also retain the plane. So if you wanted to see a comeback, it would need to be here, and the good news is for the Norse, they are set up where exactly they need to be.
This is the important spot to be in. Up on this wing, 2 players with assault rifles holding down the lanes, but a push from behind could be coming through. 2 players from Miami trying to regain positioning. It's not going to happen as they shut down the push. Over on the point, it's a contest right now. Submachine gun players battling it out for the time. Calby will come out on top. Miami trying to stretch this lead. They'd be able to close it out on the next rotation. This is some solid old time, though, to only make it a few seconds needed, and the kill feed continues to light up. It's a bloodbath right now as Rando finds 2. His 15 seconds would be pretty close to closing things out. Now you rotate to P5. Rando in a big spot, finding the kill on demotions. Things looking really good for Miami here down the stretch.
I don't remember the last time I saw an SMG go double positive 32 and 15 on this map. QPan is absolutely having NKU right now. Now, a decent opportunity here for Northern Kentucky, pending they can get rid of Rando. He's the only Red Hawk in the back that could potentially block spawns, and my goodness, he nearly finds 3. He was on 5 in a row, will not earn streaks. Calby trying to pick up where he had left off, and this pressure to the middle of the map just so substantial. It gives an opportunity for Miami to work in, but it looks like this last attempt will be quelled, at least for a time, but only 11 points required, so they can still win it here.
Calby with a couple huge kills. Miami trying to close it out on this hill, and it looks like they have a chance to do it. One last player, maybe a chance to get on the hill. The contest comes through. 1 kill down, and a second is there as well. Miami with the dominant performance in map 1. They will take it. They pick up their first checkmate hardpoint of the season so far. And I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with QPan. Double positive. You made a mention of it there, Alan. With the submachine gun on a big map, it's not easy to do. Calby as well. We're seeing it in the kill cam at a big impact as well.
I just don't remember the last time I'd seen an SMG player have that much of an impact. But it was because there was a lot of freedom. I mean, his ARs are clearing so much space for him. We talk about the times at which they're conceding the back 15 seconds of, say, for instance, second hard point by yellow containers. But if your ARs are set up in positions on those wooden stairs, on the plane wings, that gives you so much clearance. And if you're relaying that information to your SMG, it gives them then the information to sit there and say, where can I go to go rogue and get into a position to really foil any potential hit from Northern Kentucky. And it was in that third and fourth hard points continually when we kept talking about the chaos where Northern Kentucky was spawning all over the map. Why? Because you had players like QPan running around trying to find kills, and it kept forcing the Norse to spawn all over the place. And in that moment specifically, that's where I think you kind of saw the trend of the game be established, where Miami was locking down lanes with their ARs, allowing their SMG player to go and do as he sees fit, which apparently was going double positive for about 35 kills.
Absolutely, yeah. Miami, just you could tell they had that extra little bit of information they needed to kind of know where the spawns were coming through for NKU. They managed it a little better, and it works out in the end. QPan going double positive in that match. Now we turn our attention to a Miami search and destroy. And don't get confused, this is not the home playing ground for the Miami Redhawks here. They're based out of Ohio, so they're not necessarily playing in their own backyard, but it is still a Miami. The first time we're going to see it on stream tonight. To me, one of the funner search and destroy more fun search and destroy matches to get to watch right now with the meta set up the way it is. I think both bomb sites can be pretty viable, something you can't say necessarily for a lot of the other maps. Alan, how do you see this one in Miami shaking out?
Yeah, it's interesting because after Power Week came to a close, we saw Miami Search and Destroy be played a lot. But not just did we see the map be played a lot, we actually saw a lot of default setups from the offense going over towards A, which was pretty strange to see simply because up until really that Power Week, everyone was like, oh, the B bomb site's the easier one to attack. Well, wait a second. That B bomb site is we're going to throw our SMGs at you. You're going to throw your SMGs at us. And whoever wins that battle wins the round. And at that top echelon of Call of Duty, that is not a roll of the dice that you want to take. So we're starting to see offenses largely spread the map, look for information, see if they can read how many, if any, players move to top piano, and then make your decision based on that information as far as where do we want to go to. And largely, after you get that read that, okay, there are SMG players that have already gotten to top side piano, no need to go challenge those players. Let's just go over towards the A bomb site because let's be honest, those players are kind of stuck top piano. How are you going to come across a wide open middle of the map with an SMG? It's very difficult to do. So that's been, I think, the big conversation point at the higher echelons. Will we see that here? I don't think we could assume that we will. But if that mindset has trickled down, that's one of the expectations we may be able to kind of pin up when we get into the second map.
Yeah, it just feels like there's a little more versatility over at A. Like you said, with B,
Absolutely.
you're throwing the SMGs, you're hoping to win the trade battle. But at A, bring a couple ARs, you get a first blood, you open things up. Definitely feels like there's a lot more that can be done over at that site. We'll have to see what these two teams opt to go with in terms of their strategy. Just looking at the way the map count is right now, NKU 3-2 so far in Miami, search and destroy. And I mentioned that the Redhawks, this is their go-to game mode. They're 8-1 so far on the season as we're already jumping into things in first blood going in favor of NKU on the offense. They're opting with the A strategy, and it's Crew Elevator picking up the first blood.
Yeah, but you do have Miami who have rotated over, so they have control of the visitor center. They've denied the ability for a free plant at the moment. It just comes down to, in this 3v4, can you clear up enough zones? You would love to get a counter pick as soon as humanly possible because the longer that Abyss is able to stay in the middle of the map, the more safe this NKU push will be. So it's going to be down to who's going to make that first play. Calby tries to, and, well, it's Abyss from Curve who finds the response kill, and it leaves Rafe in a 1v4.
Really, really good looking round right now from NKU. One player left for Miami. It's Wraith. He's got some positioning here in Visitor Center. He's going to make his position known. That should be plenty for NKU to play off of. Just have to play the time. Make sure you get the trades. You got Gru hiding out here, playing for the bomb, and Wraith is looking for any opening here to try to find a kill. Abyss, the shots won't come through. And I think it has to do with that vision tech on the Krig. You can't use a sniper. Might as well throw a scope on your assault rifle. That's the closest thing to it. It works out here in the kill cam.
Yeah, advanced optics doesn't matter. It's just essentially a faster firing sniper rifle at times, it feels like. But the problem, again, and this is one of the things that defensively has been kind of a consideration, is when you do give up space at A, how do you deal with the post plant setup? Because that position from driveway is so difficult to take a player out of. And I think that largely is why we're starting to see more and more hits over towards the A side, because you don't have the threat of a sniper rifle to immediately take you out. And so what's one of the ways that you could possibly deal with it? Looks like Elevator says, why not get a bit aggressive through the middle of the map? Well, that's one of the reasons why QPan's able to find the kill at pretty long range, just locking down this rotation. And Miami find themselves in a very early 4v2. And with that, they should likely get a free plant here at A before NKU can do much of anything.
Big opening here at A. A couple players on defense trying to get aggressive, and it's going to be costly. Now a 4v2 situation. Bomb going down. You see the setup on defense from the white players on your minimap. You got Abyss here, already being spotted out. He's taking shots. That's going to be difficult. It's Gru who's probably going to be the one to make the play, as a player to his left in mid might not see that. Knowing, have to expect at least that there's a player out by the boat, and Abyss falls. So that makes it all in the hands of Gru. 1v4. It would be near impossible. Not to say it hasn't happened before. First kill onto Rando is there, but with the time left, only 20 seconds, 3 players to deal with, it doesn't seem likely. QPan will fall as well. So a little consolation here for Gru, finding a few kills. But I think all in all, it's Miami just seeking out the counter defense there, where you see a couple players on defense try to get aggressive. Miami was somewhat ready for it. They get the first 2 picks, and from there, it's just wide open.
Do it. Oh, you gotta hold it. Oh, you gotta hold it. I was hoping for like a little 900 spinning pirouette dive into the deep end, but I've been wanting that since day one. Like, legitimately, I was like, at what point are we going to see someone actually play with the diving board? We
It'd be cool
almost
if it
got
was
our first instance.
an actual spot where you could gain information. You see those jump spots all throughout different maps. If that was
Dude,
like a spot you could use to
imagine you
grab
could
extra
jump
info.
off the diving board and see through the window of the hotel room that's
Right,
up there.
right.
That
Hit
would
like a
be
crazy
so
shot.
dope.
They
Trick
gotta
shots
implement
galore,
that.
dude.
Put
Yeah.
some more diving boards in because we love to see it. And it was, I mean, the odds were stacked against Gru in that round. Still able to find
For
2
sure.
kills. That definitely is something to carry into another round as we see things switching up a little bit on offense for NKU. They're going to hit B this time. Defensively, 2 players at home for B, couple players in mid. You have the
Oh,
one
man.
player on offense, number 4, that's Motions, maybe trying to
Yeah.
make some kind of wide pinch.
This whole play is a delayed execute. You have to wait for Motions to make some noise over towards A, I think, before you hit this. But Calby, I believe, has seen information. He's going to back up. And now I'm just sitting here like, Motions, what in the world are you even doing here in the first place? Because this whole setup from Northern Kentucky, it looked like we were all just going to stack up by pier, let Motions make some noise, take a couple of shots, throw some nades, see if Miami will stay stalled passively over by A, and then at a certain time on the clock, you just full rush at this B side and see if you can overwhelm. But that wasn't the case at all. And now Northern Kentucky find themselves essentially trapped in garage with 35 seconds and a 3v4.
Never want to be trapped in a garage. Gru, though, it's going to get 1 kill. That could prove to be pretty important. And you're right. It just seems like a decision needs to be made right now for NKU. You have to start to push out. 20 seconds ticking down. Gru with the bomb is going to fall. Another going down in garage as well. Leaves it all up to crew elevator. It's not going to be easy. 15 seconds left. Just felt like the decision came a little too late in the round. And you're right at the start there. Motions going by A by himself. Kind of have to throw a question mark at that one as well. Either way, Miami, good job there on defense to close that out. They go up 2-1.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that we've seen teams try to execute on this before, where you get an AR that jumps on top of the turned over bus that can see up top into piano. You use that guy to read any information. Is anybody aggressively playing top piano? And then you throw an AR either top hotel balcony or out towards the beachfront where you get a chance to maybe get a 1v1 at long range or at least read information, but that was not the case at all. I mean, Northern Kentucky just kind of stacked up in the garage and let Motions just go play rogue, but he really wasn't playing the role that you would normally expect him to play. So a little bit of miscommunication or miscoordination there overall, but it's still 1-2 very early on. Motions will see players over through Tiki, but it's more than I think he bargained for. So he's going to be shrugged off this angle. And now it kind of falls to Elevator to have to make a play.
Miami with success on the first attack at A. They go back to it here again. Neither team yet to draw first blood. Cupan might be the one to fall first. He's just barely getting away with his life. Probably has to reposition, but not before Gru finds him and gets the kill. Bomb plant trying to come through. Elevator's there for it, and that is going to be a huge advantage in favor of NKU. 4-on-2. You got bomb down today. That's valuable information. Motion still up there, top visitors in a power spot. It's looking pretty good right now for NKU. All you have to do is play your life advantage. Make sure the bomb doesn't go down. That's the biggest piece of information you have right now.
Well, if Rafe can get this kill on Motions in the back, it would be good because now all of a sudden you've got pressure from behind NKU's quote-unquote setup. But the problem is you don't have the bomb, and you do not have the ability to run this as a duo in a 2v3 because Rando's kind of caught on the catamaran at the moment. He's going to have to try to make a play forward. Elevator will see one, and every hope of potentially getting that bomb planted was kind of nixed after they got the kill initially. And so Northern Kentucky will tie things up 2-2.
Elevator, playing that cheeky little corner, was able to get good timing on the bomb planter. And once you get that kill and drop the bomb, that is valuable information for the defense. You can kind of just set up the rest of your round around that. And it works out in the end for NKU. They draw things up at 2 apiece. That last round, the offensive hit to B didn't seem to work out very well. We'll see what they draw up this time. Maybe take it back to A as the teams are tied up here. And that will be the case. The long run across to the beach. Got their flip-flops in check. We'll see what shakes out defensively. Only a few players home this time. Cupan going to be in a very important spot. First line of defense. And if you're over at B, you have to start to think, nobody's home yet. This might be the time to start thinking about a rotation after not seeing anybody for this long. The scope up top by the balcony is going to get shot at, but he's able to stay with his life. And just right now, it's a stalemate. Both of these teams waiting for the opening push. Gru's going to be the one trying to make it. He goes down to 16 health points, just barely hanging on for dear life.
This is too one-dimensional for the Norse. You had one player up top in Abyss that's trying to watch that cross, and he actually had to give it up to watch the flank. You had nobody over towards B, making sure that no one was pushing through. So now you're kind of feeling like you're stuck. Gru gets caught trying to move up by himself. Yeah, Northern Kentucky's search and destroy here. Their execute's looking, again, just a little bit discoordinated.
Seems indecisive in these past couple offensive rounds. You get to a bomb site, and you might have the life advantage. You got to take that moment and grasp it and just go after it. You're giving the other team a chance to rotate back, and now we're seeing how Miami takes advantage of it. Calby with a big kill leaves it all up to Abyss with that scope on his gun. It's going to be tough in these close-range engagements. He falls to Calby as well. Again, I just think it goes back to NKU. If you're going to make a decision, make it. Push that bomb site and try to make something happen earlier into the round. You're giving Miami a chance to know that nobody's coming to B. That's when you know the push is at A. You can rotate back and try to pick up on the kills.
The thing that I'm noticing there is the fact that you have one player up top in the hotel balcony trying to watch to see if you can find any peekers mid-map, and he does get a 1v1 technically with a player that was sitting on the hedges, but the problem is you didn't have any help. So Abyss, he actually gets tagged up first. Motions, you saw him get that kill in the kill cam. It would have loved to have seen him there a little bit sooner. Get on top of that van, get close to that courtyard. Maybe there's a chance for some team shots. And if you find that kill in the middle of the map, then you've got an opportunity to go A if you want to more safely, or you can wrap back to B. It'd be difficult for the defense to respond to it, but this time Miami looking to get aggressive as they four-man stack over towards the B side and find first blood.
Gru that time falling for the first blood. And you're right, Miami over here at B. Trying to mix things up. It's been NKU have been falling back on their defensive wins to keep them in this game so far. Miami trying to extend the lead a little here. They've got a good chance to do it with a 4-2 life advantage. Motions throwing down some shots, but the bomb already being planted at B. He's going to be last alive. Another situation here where NKU have left their final player in a tough spot. Shots into Q-Pan are good. That's going to be one. Can he make the read onto Rafe? He had it for a second there. He might have spotted him. Going to go ahead and try to rotate around towards the garage. 17 bullets left in the weapon. There's still some time to work with here. This one's not necessarily impossible.
It's
but
not a lot of time to work with.
Right.
I mean, you have to get 3 kills in the next 8 seconds, essentially. And there's one. Not going to get a second. Yeah, so at the moment, it just feels like the set defensive strategies that we've seen from Miami have been a little bit more comprehensive than NKU. I mean, I'm saying this just barely. But more importantly, their offenses have been very well constructed so far. A number of great opening hits that have been a little bit aggressive, that one included towards B. But even their set play over to A was very diligent about making sure that we had players that were still lingering mid-map, make life difficult for NKU on rotation defensively. And if we can get the bomb planted, it leads to a much safer post-plant because of it. I need to see that here from NKU. And all 4 players, again, just diving into piano. No one goes on top of the bus. They can't see if anyone's gotten up top into this piano bar area. And that's not great news because you've got Randu who's trying to watch this from afar, but you also have Calby who's down low and Q-Pan who's already making a long rotation. No one's going to be able to read this for Northern Kentucky. You've got to get onto the site and you got to go sooner rather than later.
Northern Kentucky hunkering down in the top of the piano right now. Q-Pan on the backside might have had an opportunity to pick up a few kills, but Abyss able to sniff that out. So all of a sudden the defense with just 3 lives remaining. Again, though, we go back to the point where NKU needs to pull the trigger on one of these pushes. Starting to get some action over here at B. Motions finds another, and this should be the moment where you push through. You got the life advantage. Crew finds one more, and there's the 4th. That's solid stuff from NKU. It looked a little sketchy at parts in that round, but they're able to get it done. They kind of just feel like they're staying attached at the hip, all 4 players on this team, but they're able to get this one done. Crew elevator with some nice shots.
It's just fortunate that they turn around at the exact right time to catch Q-Pan coming out of the hotel, because if he gets onto curve or even better back behind bus, which would have taken an extra second to do that, that's a totally different round. So kudos where kudos are deserved. NKU pick up that pinch nicely, find the kill from behind, and that gave them a lot of opportunities. You should know that Q-Pan is looking to play from that A site. If he gets taken down, you could potentially rotate over your offense to A, but you asked the question. This is NKU heavy loading over to A, and if they don't see anything, you just keep going. This is the around the world strat. You get all the way behind. No one would ever expect that all 4 members are on this long flank. It's cheeky. I like it. Creativity points from the Russian judge.
Definitely creativity points here as all 4 members of the defense trying to wrap around on the long pinch. If you're Miami, you're like, where is everybody here at B? There's no one home. The plant's going to get ready to go down. And on the backside, it's Crew Elevator picking up First Blood. That should be information, though. Rafe should be calling out to his teammates. They're coming from the other side. Turn around. Rando over here on the outer wall. He's going to have two players headed his way. Gru will be the first one to step up to the challenge. Shots come through. He's able to pick up the kill. And again, this is going to be a big opening on the backside for NKU. 4-2 life advantage. They should be able to push on through. Elevator in a gunfight with QPan at mid. That's going to come through for QPan to even things up a little more. But you got to be focused on the bomb here. Someone getting the checks. Calby at the backside falls to motions. All up to QPan. Has to get the check on the bomb, and as he goes for it, he falls. So the strategy works out in the end. The 4-player hit around A gets NKU the win, and they tie it back up at 4-piece.
The only thing that foils that plan is if they set up a post plant in favor of this back alley. That's the only way that plan is foiled. Because you have to imagine that if you're playing that aggressively from a defensive push through, that largely the majority of your players are running 74 Us. So if you just get a post plant set up that favors that back trash alley and you're set up on that normal heady all the way in the very back bottom left side of the minimap, it's very difficult to retake from that side point. But Miami don't expect that. And again, why would you? And so they do get a bit caught off guard. And now it's on to Northern Kentucky to see if they can take one of their first leads here. It's going to be another setup over towards A. Elevator is going to be pulling out one of those advanced optics, trying to get things done with the Krig. And you do still have a Biz up top who very well could catch some timing here into QPan. But I don't believe he fully seen him. Now he does find First Blood. And this opens up so much space for NKU to work with.
A huge First Blood from Abyss there. Makes the offense in a much better position here to try to push up. Rafe taking shots as well. Both of these teams trying to put it to a closeout round. You got Gru advancing with the bomb. Still a 4-on-3 situation as you got Miami starting to rotate back over. It's still Rafe in an important position up here in the top of the visitor center. How about number 3 on your minimap, though? Maybe trying to make a play.
He's just sitting there to play the post plant safety. He's just in the clutch spot right now. You don't have to do anything if you're Abyss. You've got that advanced optic. Just let your teammates in front of you get the kills or just get the bomb planted and you essentially secure the round. Because how is Rafe going to get a 1v4 when he's got to clear out so many different angles? The answer is you just don't. So yeah, it's a safe hit. And that's why we're seeing a lot of teams go over towards A. As soon as you get that First Blood, you can move very, very quickly, get the bomb planted. And once it's down, you can watch this from Catamaran, you can watch it from Curve, or you can even push through to the visitor center. And all of those angles are very difficult for the defense to retake through.
A lot more versatility. Definitely agree with you. There's just so many more different ways to get things done compared to B. And we're seeing it work out here in this match so far. NKU able to get themselves to a closeout round here to try to bring the series to 1 apiece after Miami takes the initial hard point. But it'll be Miami again on offense, trying to set things straight here and go to around 11. They've been over at A couple times. Now it looks like the push will go back to B, and we'll see if NKU has any other tricks up their sleeve to try to slow this one down. It's going to be 2 at B, 2 at A.
Stock setup, very passive for Northern Kentucky. Player all the way in the back alley, and another one over by A at the lifeguard hut. Abyss finds one for free. Second one, no problem, and I don't really know why you'd try to challenge that with just one stun. It's not exactly what you would call a favorable bit of utility, so Miami's stuck in a 2v4 with no bomb.
Quite the head glitch there in the alleyway. Not very easy to win that gunfight when you have a submachine gun. And now Rando and Rafe realizing this is a tricky situation. You don't have the bomb, a couple assault rifles in hand. They try to rotate around and find a pick. Elevator still rocking that scope. Picked up a few kills in the top of the alley, or in the top of the balcony over on the other side. Now seeing Rafe putting some shots down. Tricky spot for Rafe to try to play the life here. You have to think he's going to fall. Rando trying to push up into Piano. Looking to find one on the Gru. Wow. That's not going to happen either. And this should be all she wrote for map 2. NKU are going to pull it out in the end, 6-4 fashion. Ties this series at 1 apiece, and we go back to checkmate for control. I don't know. It seems rounds are on offense, but regardless, NKU able to pull a few tricks out of the bag or out of their sleeve, I guess, and they get the win. They get it done.
Yeah, there's a couple of things to look back on, and I think you could probably clean up no problem. A lot of evident things. You know, the first and foremost that I'm looking at offensively is if you're just putting in one person top hotel balcony, that is not going to be enough to also watch your flank push through from B. So you've got to make a commitment of, are you going to try to help this player by helping the flank and just trust that you send 2 players kind of tight holding that beachfront wall and run across it. You see that very regularly. You see Paris do that pretty often when they've played this before. You've also seen Looney kind of make that play in the past. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as why you don't see 4-man hits through A. It's just too many opportunities for a flank to come through. So if you can help that, that's great, especially if Abyss is able to find opening information in that middle. If he can get just a little bit of help to try to get that opening first blood, it makes life so much easier. And that's, again, why we're seeing teams try to go over towards A. As soon as you read that intel, it's very difficult for the defense to not just cross over that middle street when you're set up with your ARs. But beyond that, if you can get the bomb down, there are so many clutch up spots that you can just sit safely if you're on the offensive side. And up until those last couple of rounds from Northern Kentucky, we didn't see a lot of that come into play. So some things to go back and look at. Again, this match, for all intents and purposes, is not necessarily a required win for either team. Both of these squads should be comfortably into the top cut, but you are looking forward to that second split saying, what can we do to get better?
Right. And for Miami, that's the second time all season long that they've lost a search and destroy. So now all of a
It's
sudden, the
true.
game mode you need to start to look at more. 5-8 in hardpoint is not very glamorous to look at. Now 8-2 in search and destroy. You think that's your strong game mode. NKU come out and show you that it might not be. That's a big win in map 2 to tie up the series. And we turn our attention to another checkmate control. If it's anything like what we've seen so far tonight, it's going to be a good one, and it's going to go to round 5. We've seen offensive wins. We've seen defensive wins. We've seen spawn trapping. We've seen point stacking. There's a lot of different strategies you can throw out there in control. And as we look at the map count, 2-1 for Miami and the Redhawks coming into this one, and then 4-1 on the other side for NKU. So you maybe give NKU the upper hand in this one. But if it's anything, like I say, if it's anything like the first 2 matches we've seen tonight on control, checkmate, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, 100% agreed. And just to kind of speak more about those search and destroy tallies, the only loss that they had, Miami, I'm talking about here, up until that match right there on Miami was a round 11 to Purdue. So again, that's the top of your division. It's another school that's very talented overall. We're expecting to stay in the top 25 unless something crazy happens to them in the second split. So the fact that your only other loss was a round 11 to the best team in your division, and you were able to beat teams like Butler, yeah, you're feeling a little bit uneasy, I think, maybe about giving away a search and destroy to Northern Kentucky. Not to take anything away because they're the third best school in your division, so is what it is. But as we get into this control overall, it will be the offense for Miami to start things off. And with a couple of kills, Rando will actually get onto this A zone. And for NKU, they are largely stacking around this B point, and they got to come over and help in some fashion because this is a lot of space they just given up for free.
Rando trying to get this first tick all on his own. He's going to have one last player to deal with in Abyss. He gets that kill. Now support starts to come through. Q-Pan on the one side, trying to help him out.
Why?
Unable to do it so far, but the nade comes through, and the second tick should be starting to come as well. Life advantage not really in favor of either team.
I just don't know why you shell that. I mean, you could have double stacked this. It would have given you the full progress here at the A zone, which they're still going to get anyways, but a little over aggressive Chell. Not going to really amount to too much because his teammates are all starting to build streaks of their own, essentially. 2 in a row for Calby, 2 in a row for Q-Pan, and they have won the middle of the plane. And how about this? There was an opportunity where Q-Pan may have just been able to get right onto the B zone immediately, but I love the patience here for Miami. Take your time, clear your lanes, and then eventually, once you've got a favorable kill feed, make your play for B. And well, if you find yourself in a position like this where you don't find a favorable kill feed, play your life, wait for help, try to re-clear the plane once more.
Not necessarily all about getting on the point, as we know here in control. Abyss finding one onto Wraith, and still just a battle for map control between these two squads. You got Q-Pan in an important spot up top in the plane. Might think about trying to hit through. Motions, though, playing this cheeky little corner he's not known about right now. Still, both of these teams, it's a little slow point in the game that it comes to oftentimes in control with 1 point left to capture. Still, nobody really too eager to get on to B just yet. Still playing these kills. Motions in the backside, trying to make a pinch happen. Goes down to 1 health. He does fall to Wraith. Still, we just are looking to see one of these teams take control of the map. Wraith is going to find one onto Elevator there. Both just playing their lives. Abyss pushing through. Both teams, it just seems like they're pushing through to the other team's spawn. Nobody able to grab map control right now.
It's one of those things that it can be very difficult to read where these hits are going to be, where the positions are set up, especially from the offensive POV, because your focus is on where do you draw that line in the sand? How far forward do we actually want to go? Because if you get punished and you get caught a little bit too far forward, all of a sudden you've given up all of your map control. So a little bit of timid play for Miami, which is, to be fair, not exactly the worst thing in the world, but it does kind of catch them in a position where Northern Kentucky can get around the back, make a couple of pinch plays, and kind of flank around the setup that Miami was trying to put together. And now all of a sudden, you've got Abyss trying to farm kills off spawn. He's going to be cut down, though. Good isolation, but with only 40 seconds to play and lives becoming a bit of a problem, you're wondering how Miami are going to try to stall this clock out and maybe use that life count as their win condition for this offense.
Still have some time to work with, but you're right. The lives are really what we start to look at. 7-6, Miami with a 1 life advantage. Rando on top, trying to shrink that down even more. He will. Couple kills back and forth. It's the final 4 lives here for NKU as they try to hold on in this defense. Rando, the gun punch coming through. Motions there for the trade, and the defense
3v3.
holding strong for now. 3v3 is what it comes down to. It's just another slow point in the match. 10 seconds left for the offense to try to get onto this point. Shots coming through in favor of NKU. Motions is just trying to play his life. The finesse god is going to find QPan underneath the point. Now it's a 2v1. Calby last alive. Has to get onto it right now. He's just barely going to get the contest. But it doesn't matter in the end. NKU able to hang on, win that defense. Really good stuff out of them. They go up 1-0.
Love the commitment at the end for the low numbers situation for Northern Kentucky. Off the last set of respawns, they sent both of their AR players over to what was the A zone. And from that position, you can actually clear the majority of this B point on that cross. Right there, you saw it there at the end of the kill cam. That's where both of the ARs were positioned. You can watch players come in, and you got a nice, free, long line of sight to where you can read information, give it to your teammate that's still trying to finesse on the point. But beyond that, you know that Miami has to play for the control point. Time is becoming a problem. So force them to make the play. You stay safe, get the cross angles, get the kills, get the favor, win the round. Beautiful stuff from the Norse.
I think it's been nice to see the IQ from both of these teams, though. We talked earlier tonight about how a lot of teams don't necessarily think about playing for map control, but there's been some real slow points in this match already in that first round. We see both teams trying to play for positioning right now. It's in favor of Miami as QPan finds a couple at the start. Now he's going to push through and maybe try to look for some spawn kills. The positioning in favor of Miami, and for NKU Gold, you got to start to break out. Got to pick them up one by one. Elevator finds the start.
Not bad.
Yeah, need to start to push forward too, and they do.
You have an exit, and you've got an entrance, essentially. Exit from the spawn, entrance into the plane, and that gives you opportunities not just for the B zone, but you see Gru also making his play over to A. So now you put Miami in a bit of a decision-making situation because you're getting progress on both zones. Which do they prefer to hold on to? The answer will be the easier one to defend in the B site. At least clear that first, and then if you get clean wipes, then you go over to A. But of course, easier said than done. As you go pen stripe in the kill feed, red and white back and forth. And it's going to come down to, can you actually get the full clearance away from your elevator to try to give your team another chance to get back onto these points?
It's a great matchup right now. You're seeing the brain power on display from both of these squads. Defense holding strong for the time being. Miami trying to hang on, only 1 tick through on A. NKU have to start to get something going as QPan is just holding things down at A. Finally, Gru able to pick him up, but he's going to fall as well. 20 seconds left. NKU are desperate to try to get onto one of these points here. They pick up that first round on defense, trying to find one here on offense, but it's not looking too good. Calby and QPan continuing to hold things down at A. And with 10 seconds left, at this point, you start to worry about the lives in case it goes to round 5 if you're NKU. I don't really think there's much point in trying to get onto one of these objectives.
No, definitely not. I think you make the right call there. Just kind of value your life. See if you can maybe find a couple of safe kills at the end. But it's because maybe we get to play. There was a nice little clearance for Miami initially to kind of get this 3-man down situation. This happened actually on the second attempt. But once they had 3 players down, Miami just took over everything. They took over the A lane. They took over the plane. They also cleared out by Tetris over towards the bottom side of B. That's a great moment. That's when you see QPan try to make a play forward, get into yellow containers. And essentially, even if he doesn't find kills, you know that you're forced in Northern Kentucky to spawn to the bottom right-hand side of the map. So you can set your ARs up and essentially make life as difficult as possible for NKU to get out of spawn. And that was really the end of the round at that point. Unless you can find a way to cleanly clear, you're going to be hard-pressed to really get onto a control point at that time on the clock. So now we get into the next round. I mean, Miami just a kill away or 2 from winning their first attack, looking to build on that here in round 3.
They trade defenses to start. Might come down to whichever team can find this offensive win as Gru picking up the kill on Calby and the tick starting to come through at A. You have 3 players there to stack it. You see the way the progress is going up so fast, and QPan finding the kills, trying to keep him off the point with his teammate Rafe. They're able to do that. The stack continues, and they should be able to grab this point. Not if Crew Elevator has anything to say about it.
Oh.
And finally, Rafe picking up the kill on Emotions will grab point A. Now they turn their focus to B. They have the map control with the kills going in their favor. 25 to 23 lives early into this round. This could be a moment here where Miami can take an offense.
I think Elevator is going to have to owe a pretty steep apology over towards, I think it was Motions. He wanted to go make a play for the point, and he got 1 kill on the way in. 1 player left. If Elevator double chows that, they get that kill and likely deplete the progress on the third, which seemed to be the case for NKU. Like, they wanted to try to go and recontest, and now all of a sudden, with those kills coming in staggered fashion, it puts them in a position where they have to fight out a spawn. And it's also important to note that QPan is still just dominating this map. He's 20-13 as an SMG player. Not often do we see that in control, let alone what we had before in hard points. So he's definitely trying to take over as best as possible, and one of the main reasons why Miami has found so much success on their two offenses thus far.
Had a great map one, double positive with that submachine gun. Not something you typically see on Checkmate with these long sight lines. 20-14, like you say, and also the 20 objective.
Every kill
so
on
far
the objective.
yeah, has been on the objective. That's just got to show you something. So he finds another one off the objective, playing this top of the plane position that is so important, picking up the kill on Negru. Now starting to move forward where he can set up a line of defense here for his team so they can start to get on the point. Elevator finds two, but QPan still have to worry about him. If you're NKU, you need to kill QPan. Finally, they're able to do it. But it gives time for Miami to start to push up on the map. They get some control here. Now they get the stack started. Calby in an important spot is going to fall to Abyss. Still teammates on the point, getting the stack together. It's up to the defense to try to get him off this point.
This is where things, I think, where teams kind of forget that, yes, the B zone progress is important. But once they get that first tick and you've lost two members, give up the point and play for zones. Try to at least trade back some of those kills. Because if you're just claustrophobically putting yourself on the B zone and hoping and praying that you get some good timing on peaks, you're going to get traded. So that's something that I see a lot of teams kind of forgetting about is like, okay, we got our one tick of progress. Let's wait for help before we can go forward again. And now we get down to 15 seconds. Lives could become a problem, but for Miami, you need to get on the zone first and foremost. And NKU, again, are setting up this nice controlled zoner on the B point.
Trying to stretch out the round by getting on the point. It's not going to happen right now. As Drew is able to find some kills. He's in an important spot. Has to get this kill onto Rafe. He does. 5 seconds left for Miami, and it doesn't seem like they might have time. But Rando says, hold on just 1 second. He's able to get on the point. Not going to last as QPan was the next in line. He doesn't make it in time. NKU able to hang on for a second defensive round win there. Now they go up 2-1 here in this control.
Yeah, that 4v2 situation where Miami converts that first tick of progress at B, that's the moment that I think you need to go back and relook at if you're a CCL team that's out there trying to play this map. Because once you lose two members, you get that first tick of progress, there's no way you're going to get away with the second one without the defense collapsing on you. So I'm a big proponent of get your tick of progress, and then past that point, maybe you leave one player on to stall the clock, but I would say largely just give up the point, try to play a couple of nice controlled zones. Maybe you get back on top of the plane wing. Maybe you're just playing a safer angle more inside of the bottom of the plane. Do something to kind of make yourself harder to be eliminated, because as soon as you lose those next two lives, which is going to happen usually pretty convincingly, now you're in this position where two players are spawning, they push forward, they die, two players spawn behind them. It's like you're just in the staggered wave of two players at a time, and it's very difficult to kind of recover yourself from that point, whereas you just try to finesse your life a little bit longer and wait for help to get there.
As we head into round 4, defenses have been traded so far in this matchup. NKU on offense with a chance to close it out. Picking up some kills right now. Motions make it 2. He's going to advance rather than getting on the point, playing some of this map control. Seeing these players come off spawn, he's going to find Rando for a kill. Gru's there for some support. No point really starting to get captured. It's going to be B that starts to take. A already has one coming through as well. So I spoke too soon. And all of a sudden, it's a spread effort here on offense. If you're Miami, you have to make a decision. Where are we going to go to stop these pushes? A already has 2 ticks. That's not going to be good. Rafe going to find one at B. That's good for the time being. But A is captured over here. Motions is going to find a kill on a Rando. A chance to maybe extend out into the map to get some more control. But early into the round, you're able to grab A. That's a good sign. Miami already down to 17 lives.
Yeah, Miami's in a pretty interesting position right now because they've got all the map control they could possibly want. But if you get, again, too far forward and get punished, lives will become a major concern. So you need to freely be able to take some of these lives back. QPan is able to find one in combination of Calby. That'll, again, will keep this push for NKU largely at bay. But it just comes down to, can you get your ARs in line? Because NKU are starting to make some progress, not just up the map, but also into this plane specifically.
See things start to slow down for a quick second. Not before the carnage continues. Is up at the top side of the plane. Calby winning that battle before he falls. Still, both of these teams trying to find map control before they get onto the point, and the life advantage starting to dwindle a little bit for NKU. 17-14. 1 minute still to go. No ticks yet on B. Calby, the snapper. Oh my goodness, that looks like a mouse. And he's up to 22 and 13, also playing the objective pretty well. Top side of the plane. Again, just fighting for this control of the point. And it's NKU are having a hard time right now. Miami picking up all the kills. Calby finessing up top with his life. The spawns just continue to be deep for NKU. They got to start to get something going on this point with 30 seconds left. The lives are pretty neck and neck. Q-Pan's going to try to make a play here around the backside. He should be able to find a couple. Gru gets one. Second on emotions just doesn't come through. But the defense holding pretty strong here.
Last attempt here for the side of NKU. It's going to have to be pretty desperate in form as they do come their way out of spawn. But it will be a 50-50 battle for who gets here first. Rando wins the first elimination, and that might be all that is needed. There is a little bit of progress going on here for NKU, but they have to hold their lives for as much as possible. And again, there's just no plane control. You didn't have the time to really establish it. And that should be a defense here for Miami. Although the lives are becoming a bit of a problem. So if Abyss can clean up some space, maybe there's a chance to stall this clock a little bit longer. But that will not unfold, and we will go to a round 5 defense, and it'll be pretty tight. I have to imagine that Miami, after their really solid first defense, will likely be in the favored position to start on defense here for round 5, but we've seen a couple of good looks from both of our teams offensively so far, so definitely not ruling anybody out when it comes to potentially converting their first attack.
Been defensive wins so far for both of these squads. We'll see if the offense could maybe come out with it here in round 5 as we get to see here that NKU will be the team on defense. We see the weaponry being used right now. 3 ARs I think I might have saw on Miami side, unless I didn't see that correctly. But either way, NKU on defense in the more favorable side here. The battle up top of the plane is going to start things off in this round. Calby still alive up there as some players try to sneak by him. That will be good for Motions to find the kill. So the positioning right now in favor of NKU on defense as they try to keep these players off the points. And I misspoke. They're actually on offense here. They're starting to tick over at B. Some players coming off spawn are going to find kills for Miami. They bring the lives back pretty even, and they get them off the point for the time being. That's going to be a good start.
Key moment right here for NKU. You have to use this position for elevator to see if you can bait the Miami Redhawks around the map a little bit, because you've got a player that's kind of watching you out of spawn, who, to be fair, Q-Pan does give away his position here. You need to isolate this kill and then try to meet your friend over towards this A zone. Better if you can do it by getting into the plane, because look at this hit coming from the side. Oh, big help coming from the outside. Calby's the last player left, and okay, the key decision making does come through for NKU. They get into the plane, they help out their homie over at A, and now you've got an opportunity to convert full progress if you can hold up this next defensive hit.
Starting to set up here at A to try to get this capture. The continued kills coming through here for Gru and company. Motions up next to find one, and the kill feed all in favor of NKU. That's going to be good enough to capture A. They turn their focus to B, and we'll see what they try to do with the positioning they have here so far. Do they push up through A? Do they focus over towards B straight off the rip? Back and forth kills in the feed start things off. Motions trying to play this position up top, finding one onto Calby. You got Rafe trying to push out to play spawn kills, but it might not matter unless he can find a few here. Kills in favor of Miami are going to make things tough for NKU. Still have 1:30 to work with. The lives pretty tight neck and neck right now. Gru with a big kill is going to be able to get on the point. Q-Pan next up to try to trade it off. He's able to get him off now. And it's just difficult for NKU to get any momentum here. Every time it seems like they get on the point, Miami is there to get the kills. Motions here, trying to do his best. The stack coming through. 3 players on it here. This could be the moment to close things out. The final tick coming through. Is Miami going to have time to get on the point? They will not, and NKU are able to win it in offensive round 5. That is huge for them. They take the series up to 2-1 now after the search and destroy. And after trading defenses, it's the offense who comes out with it in round 5.
2 key moments in the end after that A capture zone was successful for Northern Kentucky. The first was actually a negative on their hand, where they get the full 4-man wipe as they were already through 2 ticks of progress on A. They full 4-man stacked it. You don't need to full 4-man stack when you get a full wipe and there's 2 ticks of progress at A. Get an exit. Leave 2 players on that A zone. The other 2 need to get up on top of that plane. They missed an opportunity there, and Miami bounces back, and they find themselves essentially a delayed 4-man wipe. They overextend just a touch as they continue to try to move their way up the map, and Northern Kentucky out of spawn were able to find eventually favorable enough trades to where the last members that were alive for Miami were again caught so far forward away from their spawners that there was no chance for any help. Northern Kentucky eventually get all 3 members that are left alive to get onto the point, and from there, the 4th member joins them to help zone out any re-attempt from the defense. So really good stuff for Northern Kentucky. They missed one early opportunity, but they converted on the next one. So that's all that's required to get the round 5 first offense. We said it was going to be tight. We said it was going to be close. And we both said that no matter who started on offense, they had some good looks to look back on. And that way, that time through for the North, they're able to convert on just enough opportunity to get in and get that final bit of progress that they needed on B before Miami could touch.
Another close checkmate control ends up in favor of NKU Gold as they take the 2-1 lead. Now we turn our attention to a Garrison hardpoint. The first time we'll see this map played, you and I, so far tonight. Yep. And I mean, although NKU takes the lead and Miami is down, they can definitely draw back on that first map win where they were pretty handily winning that first hardpoint on checkmate. Now it goes to Garrison, where they're 4-2 so far on the year, 5-8 in total in hardpoint in general. But I think you can draw back on map 1 where you got some positives to take away from the first win, and you got to try to infuse that into map 4 here, I would think.
100%. I mean, the checkmate hardpoint that we had off the rip, Miami looked really, really good on. And a lot of it was because they were controlling a lot of key positions when they were trying to rotate. It did force Northern Kentucky to be in a little bit of an awkward situation on a couple of those key rotations. I'm thinking again from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, all that stuff that requires you to kind of be in that plane control. Miami just did a better job overall of making life very difficult for NKU. And remember who was the player to make all those spawns wild as we were getting into the third hard point and the fourth on checkmate? It was QPan. And now you're going to a world where the Garrison hardpoint should lend for him to be even more successful doing that. It's all about, again, manipulating when your opponent and where your opponent is going to be spawning at. And if QPan can, again, find a way to go rogue and just work those outside areas of the map and force life to be very difficult for Northern Kentucky, I expect that Miami would be in a pretty favorable spot to try to get this to a map 5 with a win here. Now, that said, Northern Kentucky just showcased a lot of really strong mid-map adaptation on a difficult map like checkmate control. So if they can come out swinging hard and keep QPan down, this very well could be over in 4. So I'm not going to give you a prediction one way or the other. I think it just comes down to those two keys. Can QPan find a way to get freedom to move around the map? And if he does, can Northern Kentucky find a way to make sure that he is unsuccessful of being, again, a nuisance in their backline? Those are my two kind of things to look for in this fourth map.
Definitely going to have to pay attention to QPan. Has been red hot all throughout this series. And the first map, like you mentioned, was doing a lot in that control despite his team unable to come out with the win. And I mean, a Garrison hard point, looking at this in general, I think it is definitely one that favors the submachine gun players with some of the nooks and the different ways you can manage your way around the map. But still, there's some spots for assault rifle players to have some success, some power locations. You can be up top floating. You can be up top green. Caution. The rotations over to P2. You can be on that radar. I mean, what are you seeing out of the assault rifle players? Well, sounds like we might have some lobby issues. So we'll hold that thought until we come back. Don't go too far, because when we come back, we got map 4 here. You got NKU trying to close things out before it can go to map 5. And like I say, we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. We told you it wouldn't be too long of a break, and here we are, already into map 4 here, and it's NKU trying to close things out here. It's Miami trying to extend it to a map 5. Garrison hardpoint will be the battle location. So we got a contest going on P1. Already 40 seconds ticking by here as the rotation to P2 starts to come into play. We'll see which team will be in favor on that situation. Pretty stalemated so far, but it looks like the rotation is going to be here for NKU.
Yeah, and I believe that our overlay and colors are going to be backwards here. So try to go off of the in-game clan tags as much as humanly possible as far as which side is which. It will be Miami in the white and now Northern Kentucky in the red. So a decent start overall. I mean, for both of these teams, we expect P1 to be largely pretty scrappy, but as Northern Kentucky are trying to make this play around the back through bricks, they've opened up an opportunity because they've already blocked the spawns from Miami to be here. So it's just down to, can you find the kills to get onto the hard point? And so far, the answer I thought would have been yes, but they're still pretty trepidatious about actually making the call. And with that, Miami will find a way to clear things up and still hold the hard point.
Now Rando is a read on the spawns, putting some shots down right away. This hold continues to stay put for Miami, up to 50 seconds now on the clock, and they got Calby running free around the map, picking up kills. Him and QPan have just been lightning in a bottle so far in this series. The SMG play, top notch as it continues for QPan on the rotations, finds 2. My goodness. He can hear me talking within. It's time for me to turn up on the biggest stage here, Alpha Stream for the CCL. He's doing exactly that. The rotations here for his squad should be in place. He continues to find kills on a 4 streak right now.
I mean, just look at the information. He's just all the way behind. Nobody from the side of Northern Kentucky is trying to search him out, and he's just finding kill after kill from behind. And then as soon as he finds himself in trouble, he just goes back to the homies, make sure you play for streaks, and then just go and do it again once you read that Northern Kentucky is actually not going to be here over through the dark alley. So he's behind the play once more. There's kill number 6, and this is, again, exactly what we saw from Checkmate. I don't know. This entire Garrison might just have to be a Q-Pan POV stream because, my goodness.
Just lighting it up. But Crew, that's a big time for a kill there. Shuts down the streaks before anything can come through for Q-Pan. And you're trying to fight for this final 20 seconds. If you're NKU, Crew, it's not going to be able to stay alive for too long. So now you start to think about putting your setup in place. Don't want to spawn out. So one player did. Do they pick up on it? They don't. Crew's going to find one kill. The rotation starts to look over towards Trash. It's a big lead opening up here for Miami at the start. 94 points already through the first set of hard points. But the positioning here is going to be in favor of NKU. Can they keep their setup together, though, will be the question. When you have Q-Pan running rampant at 12-7, it's not so easy. The spawns, though, going to come through the backside. So the setup should be able to get in place here. If you're NKU, you know where they're spawning, but can you pick up the kills?
Yeah, this is one of those things that you're able to claw your way back into making this scoreline respectable, but you need to get a setup in your favor. And, well, I was about to say, Crew Elevator was in a really tough gunfight there versus Q-Pan. It feels like every gunfight versus Q-Pan is going to be a difficult one today. And there's good help from above, so Northern Kentucky are doing a nice job finding a significant amount of time here on the 4th hard point. You have to keep in mind as we look down to the minimap, where are the spawns at? Miami are spawning all the way back towards where that 3rd hill was. And as we start to rotate over to the front side of this square area, you need to find a way to get here. And the best route available is getting through platform, over through lights, and seeing if you can get into the back very, very quickly to foil this setup for Northern Kentucky. And it looks like Miami have largely done step 1, but we're still waiting to see how they want to do step 2, which is, of course, breaking the hill.
Rotations in place already for NKU as they continue to claw their way back into this game. They're stringing together the hills, and it's going to be up to Miami to get a break. Q-Pan will do that and gets the kill off the time. Now both teams fighting for positioning to try to get this soaking together. Rafe picking one up over by Square, and the kill feed lighting up in favor of Miami. Reminder, these two teams in the Codcaster view are a little swapped, so pay attention to the clan tags in the kill feed. For now, Miami's going to be in control of this point, but it's been pretty scrappy so far. Calby pushing up into lights, takes some shots. The battle on the hill is the one that we should be paying attention to. Calby's going to throw in his 2 cents and find a 5-kill streak. Or there was a 5-kill streak before someone fell. Final 10 seconds should be in favor here of Miami. As we start to rotate back to the first set.
Northern Kentucky are not zoning out this middle of the map as largely as they need to be. Yeah, you've got a little bit of high ground control, but not enough to deny Miami a chance to contest it. You need to be zoning this a bit more. So essentially give up the back 18 seconds or so. And the idea is you're going to try to spawn trap this team into the back to where they really have a hard time making their way over towards the first hill, but that's not successful. So Miami's in a position to where they can actually get here and contest once more from now the high ground position. But Northern Kentucky, you got to give them credit where credit is due. They do take care of some of those problems, and now they're starting to successfully zone as they stretch over towards what will eventually be those second hard point spawns.
Now they get the brick spawns coming through as they start to think about a rotation. You got to have to do it. You're going to have to do it pretty early here on this P1. As we know, it can be pretty scrappy. Rafe, though, actually it's Rando doing his best to pick up some of this time. Still 15 seconds to play for. As we see the spawns come through. Now they're flipping back and forth. Is the rotation going to be there? And it is right now for NKU Gold. You have number 2, that's Abyss, getting some support from Motions as they try to hold that one down. Q-Pan will be the one to try to break it. He falls. The streaks come through from Rafe, able to find one, but that doesn't matter because Motions is there to get on the point. Has to deal with a couple players pushing through green. Finds the first, second one in line is going to fall as well. Third one up. Can he make it 3 a charm? Q-Pan in the backside trying to finesse. Is going to pick up that kill to waste some time here, give his teammates a chance to rotate over on spawn.
Nice little bounce back here from Northern Kentucky. They have done everything they've needed to do and then some It should be, pending someone gets in the hard point after these streaks fail away, a lead here for Northern Kentucky for the first time after a very convincing start from Miami. And beyond that, those streaks that were used don't even clear space for them to even contest the back 30. So now you've got Northern Kentucky. They are in a mad dash. It's just Calgary who's here trying to deal with this play. Not going to be successful, and Miami should be spawning all the way behind P2. This should be a successful rotation from Northern Kentucky, getting from the exit of 2 into the initial of the 3rd.
Really starting to string them together now as they get the rotation in place after a solid hold on P2. This could be a moment where they start to stretch their own lead after Miami came out hot from the gates. Calby playing in the tools here, trying to focus up on the backside of the spawns. He knows they're still coming through for NKU, but the kills will fall in favor of the gold squad. And they're in position on this hill to keep a hold. See where the push tries to come through here as Miami looks to break. Randall at the front will fall. Second player in QPan goes down as well. Calby there for the trade, but it won't matter.
Oh boy.
4-man sweep for NKU as they continue to string them together. Like I say, now all of a sudden they're in the lead by 30 points. And it's Miami who are on the back burner.
Yeah, Miami need to successfully keep Northern Kentucky from exiting this hard point freely. They have to be able to zone this back platform area by caution and over through the dark alley. It's the easiest way for an NKU to get out, and they have not successfully done this. 2 for 2 overall, but Motions has gotten his way up to a position to contest the high ground. Oh boy, it's all gone wrong here for Miami. Northern Kentucky have exited successfully from P3. They forced the Redhawks to spawn old, and now they've got initial time also locked up. Not a good position to be if you're a Redhawks fan.
NKU flipping the switch here in map 4, trying to close things out before we head to a map 5. The kill feed remains in favor of NKU. They have the setup in place, and the way you usually break this hill is through this side, over on the right by lights and platform. Got to get control of top green right now. It's Crew Elevator hanging on to this position. The nades are going to come through, and they should pick them up. So the break does come through for Miami. That's a good start, but all of a sudden this lead starts to be one that is difficult to overcome as NKU have just strung together the past couple of hills. Both teams jumping onto the point, trying to trade out these kills and pick up the time. 15 seconds left. So rotation starts to come through for the next set of hills. Both of these teams trying to get the next positioning.
And Miami's not in a position to really contest this initial time. They have to take their time coming away from what was that 4th hill as they start to make their play across. And, split spawn situation here. Who's going to get the read first is really the question. And QPan and Calby are going to find a couple. That should lead to numbers for Miami to get onto P5 first. But really good patience here from Northern Kentucky. Just waiting and playing their lives. Make sure reinforcements can come, and then maybe we have a chance to actually break this from the back.
Miami should know where the attack's coming through, and they are picking up the kills. Abyss will find 1, but not before 2 of his teammates fall. And it's just another situation here where a team tries to come from behind. It's Miami this time. After a hot start, down by about 60 points, starting to inch their way back into this one. But this 20 seconds could be huge for NKU. It's almost winning time if they can get it. Player getting onto the point, falls to Wraith. They go back and forth, and we get ready for another set of rotations. It'll be NKU again, trying to close it out here in this map. And Miami trying to force a map 5. The kills from Wraith. He doesn't deserve to get that one, it feels like, but he does.
This is so doable from the side of Miami. You've got high ground control. Big win from Rando. You've locked down this rotation. You've done successfully. You've able to successfully get a lot of the time on P5. But beyond that, you're forcing Northern Kentucky to spawn in the worst position possible. They've even flipped the spawns around to a way where even if this goes to another hill, you've got Miami in a position to win that rotation. But it just comes down to, do they read this hit from Northern Kentucky? A player or two have snuck across, and it's just down to who gets these next set of kills and who can actually get onto this hard point.
NKU trying to close it out on this point. It doesn't look like they'll be able to do it. We'll probably be seeing another rotation to P2, but all of a sudden this one's coming down to the wire as Miami makes their way back into this matchup. Calby with another kill, trying to get over on that rotation before he gets cut down, and a couple players here will be rotating through bricks over to P2. That's where it's going to come all down to. Final 8 seconds should go in favor of Miami, which will almost tie things up. We head to P2.
It's all about Elevator. He gets the kill that he needs to. It allows his team a chance to still play for the back and get out of the hard point, and he finds 3. Are you kidding me? Elevator single-handedly maybe saving the game from Northern Kentucky as Miami were putting the respawn right back into play, but it gets shut down, and now Motion picks up. Last chance has to come through top green.
Q-Pan will be the last one to get a chance at this hill, and he won't find it. So Northern Kentucky will win it in this map. No reason for a map 5. They come out in the search and destroy with a win. They get the control as well, and then close it out here in the second hard point. They come from behind to do it. And boy, you have to give them a lot of credit for the way they've performed. The submachine gun play was really there on this garrison. And unfortunately for Miami, after you win that first map, you aren't able to get any more momentum. And it's all over there in that garrison hardpoint.
That's huge. I mean, so many big individual plays to result not only in the attempt for Miami to get the comeback into play. You're very successful on that fifth hard point. You keep Northern Kentucky spawning behind those tanks in that little train yard area, which is exactly where you want them. It gives you a free rotation back to the first hard point. And then on that first initial attempt that Miami are trying to break out of those spawns, Northern Kentucky, they actually get flipped again to where Miami is actually in a really solid position to maybe make the comeback happen until Elevator finds a chance to sneak through top green, live his life out by the bricks archway in the tire area, and then he finds himself a couple of big kills, allowing Motions to join in the action. And boy, it came down to the wire, but Northern Kentucky make the special play when it was required to stall off that comeback.
Was Elevator in the end with the big rotation to P2. He's able to get the win for his squad. NKU win it in 3-1 fashion after losing the first hard point. They win the next 3. And that is going to do it for this week of the CCL. Unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to stick to the social media pages. Be sure to check in next week as we have more great matchups coming your way. The split is coming up on us shortly here too, but I have to give thanks to my good friend Alan here for a great broadcast, and congratulations again to Northern Kentucky for the win. Otherwise, Alan, was there anything else you had to say?
I mean, that's just again not a matchup that really results in too much for the overall standings. But I think if you're Miami, you look at that match and you sit there and say, all right, we could have won. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. For Miami, we talked about their hard point not necessarily being a substantial win-loss record. It's actually a negative one for them. They only have won 38% of their hard points, but they still hold a positive overall differential. Just going to show that their losses are very narrow and their wins are usually a little bit pretty large. So there are a lot of things to take away. You're able to put together a really solid fight, not even just versus this number 3 team in your division, but also a pretty good run versus the other squads in this opening split. As you start to turn your attention forward, though, to split number 2, you've got a number of tough opponents that you're going to have to come in a little bit more polished if you're Miami, including Illini Orange, SIUE Red, and the St. Clair Saints. All 3 of those squads looking pretty terrifying right now. So if Miami can clean things up, I definitely think they will look a little bit better than 5th overall in this first split from Division B, because they played their hearts out and they looked really, really good in that run, not just for the comeback, but also in a couple of other maps that they played here today versus Northern Kentucky.
That split is quickly approaching, and all of a sudden things are really going to start to heat up in the CCL, but I think that's going to do it for another week of action. Want to thank everybody again for tuning in. Catch us next week, the same times, Monday and Tuesday. But otherwise, we're signing off here. So long and good night. Have a good rest of the week, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.